Okay folks, here is a bonus video, if you want to call it that, for section 5.3, solving radicals. It's a little trickier than the other example that I did where you had two radicals, and yeah, I thought this might be useful, so here goes. Alright, so our equation is the square root of 3x minus 5 plus 1 equals 4 plus the square root of x minus 2. We're going to talk restrictions first. So restrictions. Alright, so we've got two radicals to look at. So we have 3x minus 5 has to be greater than or equal to 0. So 3x is greater than or equal to 5. So x is greater than or equal to 5/3. And then our other restriction is going to be x minus 2 has to be greater than or equal to 0. So that means that x has to be greater than or equal to 2. All right, and if we think about those two together, greater than or equal to 5/3, well, 5/3, as a reminder, is going to be 1 2/3. So that means that our restriction is going to have to go with the x is greater than or equal to minus 2. Because if we were to plot these on a number line, okay, we would have, not minus 2, I said minus 2. X is greater than or equal to 2. So we've got 2 here. We'd have 0 would be way over here. 5/3 would be here, because again, 5/3 is 1 2/3. So this solution is here, and this solution is here. So the spot where they would both be satisfied is greater than or equal to 2. Okay, so that's the one we go with. So those are our restrictions. Okay, so now let's jump into the solution. We're going to do the same thing that we did before. We're going to isolate the more complex radical first. All right, and in this case, the more complex radical, if you look at both of them, neither of them are great, but probably the worst one is going to be the 3x minus 5, root 3x minus 5. Okay, so when we isolate that, I'm just going to subtract 1 from both sides, and I'm probably going to be tight for space here, so I'm just going to start. So take away 1 from both sides, so minus 1 and minus 1, and we end up with the square root of 3x minus 5 equals 4 minus 1 would give me 3 plus the square root of x minus 2. Okay, so we've isolated. Now we've got to square both sides. So I'm going to take this side and square it, and I'm going to take this side and square it. And when we square this, because there's nothing I can do to simplify the square root of x minus 2, we're going to treat that like a binomial, and that is going to get a little bit ugly before it gets better. So over here we're good. The square root of 3x minus 5 squared is 3x minus 5. On the other side, when we square this, we're going to square the first term, so it's going to be 3 squared, which is 9. I guess I might as well just jump straight to 9. 3 squared is 9 plus, so the middle term is going to be 3 times root x minus 2 times 2, right? Because I'm going to get 1 from each cross term. So it's going to be plus 2 times 3 root x minus 2. And then on the end, I'm going to get root x minus 2 times itself. So root x minus 2 times root x minus 2, which is x minus 2. Okay, so we have some simplifying to do. 3x minus 5 I'm going to leave alone. 9 minus 2 is 7. 2 times 3 root x minus 2 is going to be plus 6 root x minus 2. And then I've got a plus x here that I haven't touched yet. Okay, so now I'm going to do the exact same thing I did before. I'm going to isolate my root, my radical. So if I take away x on this side and take away x on this side, I'm going to take away 7 on this side and take away 7 on that side. And that's going to bring me to 3x minus x is 2x, minus 5 and minus 7 is minus 12, equals 6 because these just make zeros, root x minus 2. Okay, and the only other thing I could do to make this a tiny bit nicer before I square it again is each of these terms is divisible by 2. So if I divide everybody by 2, I end up with x minus 6 equals 3 times the square root of x minus 2. Okay, and now we're ready to square this again. So x minus 6 is going to get squared, and 3 times the square root of x minus 2 is going to get squared. So this time at least this part's a little bit nicer to look at. X minus 6 squared is going to be x squared minus 12x plus 36, and that is going to equal 3 root x minus 2 squared. 3 squared is 9. Root x minus 2 squared is x minus 2. All right, so multiply through the bracket. X squared minus 12x plus 36 equals 9x minus 18. And then bring everybody over to the other side. So I think this is going to be about as low as I can get with this. So I will subtract 9x from both sides. So it's going to be x squared minus 12x minus 9x is minus 21x. And I'm going to add 18 to both sides. So 36 plus 18. So 46, 54. And that's going to equal 0. Right, so now, of course, we're looking to factor. So I'm going to move, let me just do a little dividing line here down the middle. So, all right, so we're looking for a product of 54 and a sum of minus 21. So product of 54 and a sum of minus 21. And it might not have dawned on you, but that's going to be minus 3 and minus 18. Okay, so minus 3 and minus 18. So I'm just going to recopy that last line up here just so that I've got it. So x squared minus 21x plus 54 equals 0 becomes x minus 3 and x minus 18 equals 0. So we get x minus 3 and x minus 18 equals 0. Or our solutions are x equals x. X does equal x. It's not wrong. X equals 3 and x equals 18. These are our two solutions to test. Right? So let's take a look at those. We'll go to verify. So if I verify x equals 3, go back up to my original. So I've got the square root of 3 times 3 minus 5. 3 times 3 minus 5 plus 1 should equal 4 plus the square root x minus 2, so 3 minus 2. All right, 3 times 3 is 9, minus 5 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2, plus 1 is 3. On this side, I've got 4 plus 3 minus 2 is 1. The square root of 1 is going to be 1, and 4 plus 1 is 5. Okay, so no. That means, since 3 does not equal 5, that means that x minus 3 is extraneous. Okay, so there is our extraneous root. That one can go away. And hopefully x equals 18 will work. And as usual, I've gotten to this point and realized I didn't check our restriction. Restriction was x is greater than or equal to 2. 3 and 18 were both greater than or equal to 2. All right, so the restriction didn't cross either of them out, but the verify took care of the 3. Okay, so let's verify the last one. So if I verify, this is going to be tight. X equals 18. I'm going to go the square root 3x, so 3 times 18 minus 5 plus 1 should equal 4 plus the square root of x minus 2, so 18 minus 2. All right. So. 3 times 18 minus 5. 3 times 18, so that's going to be, that's that's 54. 54 minus 5 is 49. So square root of 49 is 7, plus 1 is 8. On this side, 18 minus 2 is 16, the square root of 16 is 4, and 4 plus 4 is 8. So there is, ladies and gentlemen, your solution. X equals 18. You'll have to tell me what you think of the black screen, because I thought I would try it. I'm torn. It feels like an old school blackboard, and I kind of like that. But I don't know what it's going to be like when you guys watch it. So feedback is appreciated, and thank you for tuning in.